Happy lunch hour, guys. All right, so we're going to pay attention to something here that came out this morning, and I've been waiting, if you will, to just kind of see the ramifications a little bit in how the world is taking this. We got the latest bit of unemployment numbers this morning, or employment numbers, and as usual, we're being lied to. No big surprise, okay? How many times have you heard Bidenomics is working? We're doing great. This is a great economy. And then you kind of look at your paycheck or your grocery bill and you realize maybe not so much. You hear Jamie Dimon, the CEO of JP Morgan Chase, coming out and saying, Bidenomics is great. I worked for Citibank when Jamie Dimon was there. Jamie Dimon's an idiot. He's rich, but he's an idiot. Okay, he has no concept whatsoever about economics. Yet somehow he's the CEO of the biggest banks in the world. Don't ask me. He's a liberal. Go figure. He can lie with the best of them, kind of like Joe Biden. So I want you to look at something first, okay? The employment numbers came out this morning. Supposedly, we created 187,000 jobs last month, okay? Of course, that was down from the 200,000 that were expected. So, not good. Less jobs created. I want you to look at this chart. Now, if you look at the green in this chart, this is how many jobs were created by and reported by the economists, by the government. And every month, if you look, every month this year, they've been revised downward the following month. Oh, we didn't create that money. Well, we didn't create that money. Oh, we didn't create that money. You start looking at adding all this together about how many jobs were reportedly created and how many jobs then were reported later that weren't. Yeah, we're pushing 1 million jobs that were supposedly created that weren't. Okay? That's almost 1% of the workforce. Our workforce participation rate is about 63%, which is barely hanging on to what you need to keep a country moving, okay? But we're getting lied to every month about how many jobs were created. And then when the actual figures, when they look into it a little bit, we got to revise last month backward a little bit, okay? So there are less jobs out there than everybody's told. So then let's take a look at another chart, okay? This one. And this is the average earnings for Americans, basically. Notice the trend that we have since pretty close to the beginning of Joe's residency. It's all down. So there are less jobs out there for people to get, and earnings are going down, yet Bidenomics is great, right? This is what we face. As usual, they're going to come up, the unemployment number fell to 3.5%. Right, because those are the people that can still collect unemployment benefits. Those are the people that are actually reporting their unemployment, okay? I don't have a job. I can't collect any more unemployment benefits. Oh, well, then you're no longer considered unemployed. That's how it works. Okay? There's less and less and less people on the unemployment rolls getting paid to be unemployed, which, okay, take that as you will, but that skews these numbers. Unemployment is nowhere near 3.5%, okay? I mean, if we look at the U6 rate right now, okay, the U6 rate is at 6.9%. That's the government number of actual people unemployed. Okay, that's damn near twice what's being reported. Okay, U6 number is a little bit more realistic. So what's going on? What is this doing to the economy? And this tells you where we are in trouble, right? I waited a couple hours after these numbers came out to record this video because I wanted to see how the market reacted to it. Stock market, hey, that's up today, doing fine, right? But the stock market isn't a good indicator of the economy. I don't care what Donald Trump said. I don't care what Joe Biden said. The economy is not a good indicator of the economy. The dollar index, on the other hand, is a good indicator. All right. You want to see what the dollar is doing today. The dollar's getting hammered. All right. The dollar's down about 62 cents. All right. Down at 101.73 as I'm recording this. 2/3 of 1%, which means the dollar is getting weaker compared to other currencies in the world. Okay. That's going to have effect on interest rates. That's going to have effect on treasuries. That's going to have effect on mortgage rates, car payment rates, credit card rates, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We're failing. Bidenomics is not working. Okay. So I wanted to take a look at how this was affecting the precious metals market. Kind of flat. Gold's up $7, okay, which is what, 1/3%. Silver's pretty much flat today. So there is no flight to safety. There's certainly no flight to safety in U.S. Treasuries because the people do not consider U.S. Treasuries as a safe investment anymore. Okay, I want to give you this. China and Japan, who are the two biggest holders of U.S. debt, have been selling treasuries into the market at a ridiculous pace. China has sold 1/4 of their holdings of treasury bonds into the open market this year. That's an issue, okay? Because there's only so much money we can borrow. And everybody will go, well, yeah, things are okay. I want to ask you this. Do you work for any of these companies? CVS, Yellow Trucking, Anheuser-Busch, Binance, Microsoft, Niantic, Disney, Ford, Uber, Spotify, Rolls-Royce, JP Morgan, Facebook, Paramount, Shopify, Morgan Stanley, Jenny Craig, Amazon, 3M, David's Bridal, Google, Zoom, Dell, PayPal, IBM, Spotify, DirecTV, Salesforce, Vimeo. I can keep going. All those companies have announced mass layoffs this year. If the economy's so good, why do we have a lot of these are S&P 500 companies? Why do we have large companies laying off people right and left? But there's 7 million jobs out in the country that people can't that can't go filled, right? No. Okay. There's 7 million help wanted ads out there, which I'll speak from voice of experience. A lot of them are what are called evergreen ads. It's just companies putting ads out there to build a stockpile of resumes in case they have an opening. They're not actually hiring. Many of you have told me about help wanted signs all over the place, and you go in and you apply for the job, help wanted, and they don't hire anybody, right? They're being told by the Biden administration, by corporate, to put up help wanted signs to make it look like the economy is better when it actually isn't. Just because you put an ad up doesn't mean you actually hire somebody. When new jobs are being created that are less and less and less, and when the average hourly pay is less and less and less, the average hourly or the average weekly hours worked is now at 34 and change, 34 hours and some odd minutes a week. That's the average amount of people work. I want to give you this. 32 is what is considered full-time work. Watch that number, because when it drops below 32, that's when everybody's benefits get cut. You don't get 401k participation if you are a part-time worker in most companies. You don't get health insurance if you're a part-time worker in most companies. When the average hourly rate drops another 2 hours, then you're going to have a majority of the people in this country who are not going to have the ability to save for retirement through any sort of tax advantage plan. And you are going to have a whole bunch of people whose only option for health care is going to be Obamacare. Oh joy, because that's such a good thing. This is Bidenomics. These are the actual figures when you start looking beyond the spin that the White House, that the Fed, that the media, is trying to put on the economy. We get into this. This is where you have real big problems. Okay. Right now, we all know this. The U.S. government can't pay its debt. All right. We are so far in debt. I mean, we're lucky that we're barely paying the service on the debt. In other words, the interest on it. We're not paying any principal. We're barely just paying the interest. Okay. The U.S. is going to default. It's inevitable. When it's going to be, next week, next month, next year, I can't tell you, but it's going to happen because the only other option is to raise taxes, guys. Just get ready for that. Okay. Compounding interest. Things keep compounding. The debt keeps compounding. The more we borrow more and there's more interest rates go up, the faster the deficit goes up. Okay. As I said earlier, foreign countries aren't buying as many treasuries anymore, so they're not financing our debt. So the only one that is financing the debt is the Fed. They're the only ones buying the debt. And with the exception of printing money, which creates inflation, they can't keep doing. We can't let interest rates go much higher. But the unemployment numbers this morning show that interest rates are going to have to go higher, i.e. the Fitch downgrade the other day. Okay? So what's going to happen? All right. Well, we're going to have the government wind up debasing the currency in some sort of controlled pattern to try to stop inflation, which is what they've been working on slowly. So now we can't raise interest rates, so now what we got to do is devalue the currency. That'll be coming next. No treasuries. Your only safe place to have any money is on tangible assets. Beans, bullets, Band-Aids, and bullion. That's it, guys. We are watching the collapse of the greatest country in the world economically. And we are being lied to day in and day out by the people that are running it all. Don't be fooled. Be prepared. Pinball out.